Hello and welcome to Reels to Rentals. I'm Susie Rogers here with my husband David Williams. We're the owners of Northside Video here in McMinnville, Tennessee. Good to see everybody back. Boy, it's been hot, hasn't it? Almost as hot as it was cold back in December from that big stretch. And I don't do hot weather well, but I guess sunscreens and air conditioning and a lot of pool time if you're into pools or lake time.
But the kids seem to like all of that.
Yeah, it don't seem like kids realize it's as hot as what it is like we do, but they may, since they stay in the house more than what we did growing up.
Yeah, now that so many of them are gamers, they don't get out there and run the woods or have the neighborhood little gangs of kids that ride their bicycles together and, crash at this one's house at this time for a little bit, and then they go right over to the other ones.
Right.
Of course, it all depends on how many kids is in your neighborhood.
Well, that's true.
But it always seemed like people would normally have maybe a buddy somewhere along the line that might come to your house or go to their house. Or, of course, a lot of people just stayed at home and had their own family and had a big old time there.
That's right. They did things together as a family.
Right,
Played games, board games, outside.
Right. I heard one thing, and this has been years ago. They said probably the downfall of communities and early night get-togethers was air conditioning.
That's what I've heard too, that they can almost trace it back to when people started getting central heat and air.
Yeah, because before then, everybody was out on their porch trying to catch a cool breeze, and they'd give their kids a jar and with nail holes in the top of it and say, go catch them lightning bugs.
Yeah, or June bugs.
Yeah.
Or fly a June bug around on a string. I know they'd have PETA after us today, wouldn't they?
Oh, yeah, we couldn't abuse them June bugs.
No.
But, the things of the blast of summers past, of course, there for years we didn't have an ice cream truck, and inside the city they've got one. You'll hear them go dinging around the community there. Kids still lose their mind for that.
I don't blame them. I lose my mind for ice cream too.
So, hey.
And who was it that we heard on the news? Some company is donating money to these ice cream trucks if they'll apply for it, so they will stay on the road for kids.
I don't know.
And I can't remember who it was. But with somebody you wouldn't think of, like a CarQuest or Napa or somebody like that,
Okay. Well, hey, man, ice cream cars for kids, well, and just think too, they're changing the Oscar Mayer hot dog vehicle. That's ridiculous.
That's just wrong.
Like he's a hot dog, he's a hot dog.
What was the horror movie where the guy was the ice cream vendor?
It was called Ice Cream.
The Ice Cream Man?
Yeah. It had the little feller that was Ron Howard's brother in it.
Oh, Clint Howard.
Mm-hmm. After Jill and you wouldn't think that he'd do anything that scary.
No, but a job's a job.
That's right. And poor Ron, maybe Ron slips his little brother a few dollars, I don't know.
I don't know either. That's me, Dave.
I'm sorry,
Slip him a few dollars.
Poor Ron, he's done pretty well for himself. His little brother didn't. Now, he may have done well, but it ain't hardly up to what Ron's done on sending people in Apollo and stuff like that.
Well, that's true. But, their daddy was an actor, too. What are we talking about Ron Howard for?
I have no idea. I guess we need to be telling them about the 4 movies we're going to interview.
I guess we do.
So, but anyway, action, comedy.
Well, third one might be action drama.
Okay. And really the second one's sort of an action sci-fi.
It is.
So
we got a little diversity here.
Here we go.
Okay, well, let's take off with the first one here. Probably one you've never heard of, but let's take a look at the trailer for Dead Shot.
What is it? Well, you can lose them in the woods.
Girl, I'm not leaving you.
They're not after me.
You are about to be prosecuted for murder. Or you come and work for me.
What's the situation, sir?
Being all right. And they've been giving London a taste of the troubles.
I could use a dead shot like you. I'd say that's a step up for a man in your position.
I'm going after the soldier that killed Carol.
The man you want is working for the police.
What's the purpose of your visit, sir?
I'm looking up an old friend. Doesn't have long to live.
I'm gonna make them pay for this.
Do whatever's necessary.
You killed a pregnant woman.
I've nothing.
I'd like to finish this.
Let's flush him out.
I can't run away from this. Forgive me.
That was the trailer for Deadshot, non-rated from Sky Cinema. This stars Ami Amin, Colin Morgan, and Mark Strong. This is set in Great Britain, so it's a British movie. But it, like Dave would tell you, it's probably one we've seen the premise before, but it was still engaging and it kept your attention.
You know, this was one of them movies, like you said, we've sort of seen things similar, but whenever they get set in a foreign country, we don't understand all of their terminologies and how sometimes they do things.
Well, that's right. And I can remember when the Thomas Crown Affair with Pierce Bronson came out. Of course, that was a remake. That the terminology they used for things sort of people here didn't understand it, so they didn't enjoy the movie as well because they didn't understand the slang that they use in Great Britain.
Right, and some of that fell into this movie, you know,
It
the
did.
terms and stuff, but as far as it was, definitely there was a good action run in it. And
Good revenge movie.
yeah, because needless to say, there was a lot of people that needed to pay for some of the wrongs they did. But it was one of them that, like you said up front, we'd really never heard much about it because for here in America, it was probably designed to hit Los Angeles and New York at the theater and then roll to on demand. So that makes things getting a little different.
Yeah, they get a little obscure or cloudier because you're not getting I don't see a lot of advertising dollars on TV anymore for even big blockbuster movies.
You know, probably a big part of them get advertised on the little side screen on if somebody's watching the computer. You know, but movies like this, you know, I could see them advertising it on like Yellowstone.
Right.
You know, things of that nature. But for the average person, they're not going to see much about this movie, and they're just wanting an action movie and need to pick it up.
Right.
And it's worth our time.
Right. A movie with good character development and a good story to tell.
That's it.
Well, that was Deadshot. Let's take a look at the trailer for our second movie. Now, this is one, there again, I didn't hear anything about it coming up, but this has some really good names in it. So let's take a look at the trailer for Hypnotic.
What do you see? Your daughter? The park?
Wasn't paying attention. Just for a second.
Work?
Think I'm ready for duty?
Do you feel ready?
I think it's the only thing keeping me sane. What's the call?
I'm calling to report a bank robbery.
Is this crime currently in progress?
Today.
See that guy on the bench?
Do you have a lighter?
That guy's up to something. It's very hot today. It's like a furnace.
It's like a furnace.
There's a safe deposit box.
Is that the target?
Box 23.
is she? I know you called the tip in on the bank heist. Who the hell are you?
What makes total strangers pull off an elaborate bank heist? Are you familiar with the concept of hypnotics?
Hypnotics.
Hypnotics have the ability to influence the brain, sound, voice,
Need a light?
locking eyes. Hypnotics use them to make you see a version of the world that doesn't exist.
Next.
It's not him anymore.
Nick, stop! I have to know everything. Why me? Why my daughter?
You don't know who you're dealing with.
What you're seeing isn't real!
Get back!
Hypnotics make everything that you see and do feel perfectly normal.
That was a trailer for Hypnotic, rated R, from Relativity Media. This stars Ben Affleck and Alice Braga. Now, this is the first movie, not some universe movie, DC I guess it would be, that Ben's been in a little bit, isn't it, Dave?
It has been, you know, of course, Ben's running into this line of movies that he's having a hard time making the transition to what his age is now and what they'd like for him to play. You know, we've seen several of his movies that they were expecting to perform better, and then COVID hit and everything just sort of trying to erode out with him. But this one right here, it's got some twists and turns in it. It's set in Austin, Texas, and whenever somebody gets inside your mind, it's a completely different criminal.
You know, this movie reminded me a little bit of, help me here, Dave, I just went blank. I'm having a senior moment. Keanu Reeves?
Oh, Matrix.
Matrix. But it wasn't that they were in a parallel universe or anything, but this hypnotic universe that these characters are wrapped up in due to government experimentation.
Right, and you know, I don't know enough about hypnotism to know if you can end up causing people to do stuff like this movie was portraying. And of course, the Alice Braga character is sort of a street psychic type person.
Right.
So all of a sudden, what her and Ben Affleck get into, you've got to really be able to differentiate between what's the reality and what's being placed in the mind.
Right.
And of course, the director, Robert
Rodriguez.
is, we've known him and seen him and do so many different things. And then this one here, you know, he really didn't want to film it in Austin. He was trying to film it in some other places, but almost all of his movies are done there. Why change a good formula?
Well, that's true.
And, you know, Ben Affleck, I think that this could be one of them movies to help bring him back into a different limelight.
He looked good in this movie. He was in Air with Matt Damon, and I was, you know, it was refreshing to see them on the screen together again. But this is his first movie where he's the main draw that we've seen in a long time. But that being said, and I don't know why I thought about this, because I never really thought about this with movies before. This movie hit theaters in May. Now, this did not perform well at box office, but being a May movie could have impacted it, because I didn't research what superhero movie might have came out with it. Ant-Man, Shazam, Guardians 3, you know, so that would have pulled from it, probably limited theatrical release since it was on Relativity. This is not a summer movie. They should have held this movie till I don't know, probably the fall. I think it would have done better in the fall.
Well, and when it did come out, there were so many activities that go on with graduations and all of that stuff, proms and stuff, that people's thoughts was somewhere else.
Yeah, you know, don't want box office to cloud people's opinion of watching this movie.
Exactly. So just because you go check how many Rotten Tomatoes it's got or whatever, don't always bank on that.
I always say, don't look at that. Don't look at IMDb. Don't look at Rotten Tomatoes. Don't look at Siskel and Ebert. Watch the movie, form your own opinion, then go back and see if it matches your opinion of the movie.
Right.
Don't dish a movie just because somebody you don't know don't like it.
Exactly. And then sometimes you can even put your comment in there.
That's right.
So
If you sign up for it.
that's right.
Well, that was Hypnotic. We're going to take a little turn here on this movie. Let's watch the trailer for Master Gardener.
The nandina is a species of flowering plant native to Eastern Asia. The smell at certain times of the year gives you a real buzz. Like the buzz you get just before pulling the trigger.
I have a favor to ask.
What is it?
My grandniece. I would like you to take her on as an apprentice. She dropped out of school and then she ended up in a bad crowd.
You'll learn how to garden. Are you satisfied with the life that you have?
Why would you ask that? You know, you talk a lot of shit. There's one thing you don't talk about.
What's that?
Yourself.
There's not much to know.
You put the deep six on 9 bad guys.
Oh, it was a long time ago.
Even if they're dead, you're not forgotten.
Have you ever killed anyone?
Why would you say that?
Take off your shirt.
You're impertinent.
Maya's just finding her own way.
And I'm the Queen of Scotland.
Gardening is a belief in the future. A belief that things will happen according to plan. Who did this to you?
What are you gonna do?
Time to start a new life.
I have created this life. Filled it with rules. Now seems the time to break one.
That was a trailer for Master Gardener, rated R, for Magnolia Pictures. This stars Joel Edgerton, Quintessa Swindell, and Sigourney Weaver. This was an interesting little movie. Had a lot of storyline, action. I wouldn't call it a date night movie. There's no comedy in it. This is straight up drama, but it keeps you to your seat.
Well, whenever Susie first got this movie and said, hey, let's look at this, whenever it says Magnolia, you know it's going to be a different style of movie.
Oh, you're right.
And what you run into with Magnolia, they are more story-driven than a lot of the other companies. But Joel Edgerton plays a wonderful role as sort of the incognito person.
Right, he's reformed. We're not going to tell you what he was reformed from, but he's a reformed criminal. Let's put it like that.
There we go. And Sigourney Weaver's assisting in his being reformed. And then all of a sudden you get the step-niece that comes in.
The grandniece.
Grandniece that comes in. And all of a sudden the whole flower world just goes upside down.
Well, she
was there to try
Sigourney's
patience. And needless to say, she don't have the most pleasant friends in the world.
No. She's not made the best life choices.
No, but the Joel Edgerton character offers her a way to eliminate the problems that
She should have took.
Yeah, but she chose not to. But the outcome of it ends up working out into a very well
It's a happy ending, I
conclusion,
guess.
right.
Yeah.
For really three troubled souls.
Yeah.
So this is one of them movies, if we tell you too much, you'll lose it. But at this point in time, everything works into this movie and it reminds you of The Professional.
In a way it does, doesn't it?
Yeah, you know, now where her life goes as this movie ends, everybody's got a guess, and there could be a sequel. I have no idea.
Oh, I really didn't see a sequel, but you could be right.
Well, you don't. Hey, they've pulled them out of movies that I never thought before.
Well, this is true. They should have left alone.
Here, that's it. Well, I guess that's the end of The Gardener.
Yeah. And you might learn a little bit about gardening.
Mm-hmm. But needless to say, our next movie is the sequel to a very popular movie of having some of our classic actresses in it.
Right. I really like it when they do movies for seniors.
Yes.
You know, you appreciate more as you get older and, you know.
Well, I guess we need to tell them what it is.
Oh, good idea. Well, let's take a look at the trailer for The Book Club, The Next Chapter.
Hello, you've reached the home of the retired and gifted. Where are you?
I'm in a church. What? Are you serious?
We're looking for a venue for the wedding. You're going to get married in a church? I'm shocked you didn't burst into flames as you crossed the threshold. To Viv and Arthur. Oh, thank you.
I think we should all go to Italy.
Italy? Whoa.
We'll make it Viv's bachelorette. A bachelorette trip? What are we doing?
I think it's very romantic.
But it's also nuts. Rome is a great walking city.
Belle donne, le viti più vecchie danno l'uva più dolce.
What did he say?
The older the vines, the sweeter the fruit.
Oh,
Yes, we still got it.
I'm delighted that you'll be joining us tonight.
There's no problem if 4 random women show up.
This is Italy. There's always room for random, beautiful women.
Gianni?
Who is Gianna?
What are you doing here?
This is my cooking school.
Wow.
I'm here to start an amuse bouche.
I think somebody's bouche is already quite amused.
It's too bridal. It's not bridal enough.
Gorgeous. Someone else next.
Don't move. What are you doing?
That would be me. We're best friends for 50 years.
And you?
Married. Marriage. My solo act is finally coming to a close.
You're the bravest person I know. The only question is how will we mess this all up?
I can't wait to find out.
Is it too soon to talk about who we're gonna eat first?
I think we all know.
Hey. How does a woman in her 70s end up getting married? She takes control of her own destiny. This is a bachelorette party. You know what that means?
We go see naked men. What's the protocol here? Where do I stuff the dollar bills?
That was the trailer for The Book Club, The Next Chapter, rated PG-13 from Focus Entertainment. This stars Diane Keaton, Jane Fonda, Candice Bergen, and Mary Steenburgen in the lead roles. And they are just as funny this time. And I really like it that they sort of, well, I hate to say make fun. They poke fingers at Candice Bergen for being the chubby girl, I guess.
Yeah, well, you know, and hey, but, you know, it's got Don Johnson back in it.
Andy Garcia, Craig Neal.
You're right, and it explains if some of them's not there, why they're not there and stuff. So they did a good job. Of course, I bet that this was another one of them movies that it's like on Mafia Mama. Hey, let's go take a vacation to Italy and film a movie while we're there.
Well, that's right. The only thing I didn't like about it was that red wig they put on Jane Fonda. I thought that is awful looking.
Well, you know, hey, Jane Fonda's been known to wear some unusual type stuff.
Yeah, well, that's true. But in the last movie we seen her in, she had her natural gray hair, and it looked good, you know. But that red was.
But then, you know, hey, it's like Diane Keaton. You know, we've talked about who dresses her, or is that just her?
She must dress herself. Can't anybody look that bad. I mean, all at the same time.
You know, that's that Neil Simon leftover or something. But this movie right here was very fun. You know, our Jane Fonda character is going to get married, and the girls decide to take her on a bachelorette party to
Italy.
Yeah.
I wish I had some friends like that.
Yeah.
We'd get married again, wouldn't we?
Yeah, hey, you know, and then to Venice, and of course, you know, once they get there, you know, this is a little different than the wedding bell on Hallmark. So, you know, these ladies are there to have some fun and enjoy themselves, and
I think they do.
Yeah, and pretty well end up having a destination wedding, which I'm hearing that's a very popular thing anymore. Of course, most of our family had a hard enough time getting to here, let alone taking them somewhere unusual.
I know.
But fun movie. And hey, our niece Brandy, she just laughed and laughed, and
she loved it.
Right. So you know, this is starting to show the variation of the younger people's not going to appreciate this movie.
No, our 20-year-olds have no connection to what these 70-year-old, if that, you know, are going through.
Right. But yet they show that no matter what your age is, you can have a really fun time. And then you add to it a little bit of romance and sun. And
But you know, I wonder why they never hooked Candace Bergen up with a permanent boyfriend like they did Diane Keaton. And of course, Mary Steenburgen's married in it. Now Jane Fonda's getting married.
Well, maybe that's for chapter 3 or 4.
Well, maybe so. Just like the wedding bell, they just keep dragging us out. Who's going to get married next?
Well, hey, it works.
Well, I guess so. If you make money, why?
That's right. You know, and hey, these films have done well in the theatrical. One of our only PG-13s in the last couple of weeks.
Well, you're right.
So, but this one here was just a fun watch. Maybe invite a few friends over if that's your thing.
Have you a glass of wine?
Yeah.
Maybe some cheese. We want to go continental on this. I mean, we don't want to stick with popcorn and Sundrops.
Okay,
So.
you know, some summer sausage there.
Yeah, and some cheeses and some crackers. And
artesian crackers or
Right.
something, you know.
do that Italy type thing.
There
Maybe
you
some
go.
baguette bread. I don't know.
Right. Hey,
I've
some
never been to
olives.
Italy.
I ain't either.
Olives
but hey,
would be good.
Yeah, olives and stuff. Hey, you know, go
Order
ahead.
a pizza.
Right, I was going to say, go ahead and spring up for a pizza. But anyway, I guess the book club was just one of the winners.
It was. It's been a winner for maybe some of the movies we've done this spring.
Yeah. But I think that the next chapters will be to come.
I think so too. Well, we hope you have enjoyed the show. We hope you enjoyed the movies we chose to bring to you today, and hope to see you back next week on Reels to Rentals.